Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a full review of Picard Season 3, Episode 1, and I titled it Does It Suck? Now, I'm going to be honest, I had planned on not watching this season at all. I really was underwhelmed completely by the last two seasons. I was not fond of it. You can go back and check out my reviews. And I had checked out. I checked out of almost all the Kurtzman Star Trek. Wasn't planning on watching it. And then I'm going to give credit. I was driving somewhere and I caught Anna, that Star Wars girl. She did a review of it. It happened to pop up in my feed when I was driving, and I got to listen to it. She said there was some redeeming qualities. Kind of surprised to hear that. A lot of them, as a matter of fact. So we had a big grill out over the weekend, and a whole bunch of nerds and I sat down and decided, let's give it a shot. So we sat there and watched it. And, I will say, I think you're going to be a bit surprised at my review. You all know that I've been very unhappy with the Kurtzman Trek, but, as always, kind of want to see what happens with it. So we decided to sit down and watch it, and then we get in the 25th century. That is very reminiscent of Star Trek II. It was in the 23rd century, and the music comes on, and we get a little bit of First Contact. We get some homage to Star Trek II. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And we start off and we see Beverly Crusher, and she's doing a whole bunch of different things, and she's hiding from somebody. We're not really sure who, what, where, when, and why. There are going to be some spoilers in this, so if you really don't want to know, maybe wait till you watch episode 1, but just fair warning, there are spoilers. She winds up hiding in a nebula to get away from whoever these masked bad guys are that are chasing her in her ship. We know that she's not in Federation space, and she hides in a nebula, very reminiscent of the Motaro Nebula from Star Trek II, which is really cool. We actually get some shots through the ship. They have a whole bunch of things that you remember from Beverly from the Next Generation, some of the flowers and the beads that she wore, things like that. But then we see a case, and it is really hard to see, but there is a case underneath that says Commander Jack Crusher. So it's like, well, that's interesting. Well, we definitely know it is Beverly. And then the ship gets attacked. She's going to be boarded. And we get our view of Beverly, and she's wearing a cool coat. Wish I could have got a better shot of it. But the coat's got the big wide collars on it. Reminds me very much of Star Trek 2 and 3. Those are just really awesome uniforms, actually some of my favorites. And she's under attack. We wind up seeing her pull out phaser rifle, and it looks very similar to some of the later movies. However, she is able to sit there and pump it. So it's actually more like a shotgun. And it's like if she shoots it once, it stuns. And if she pops it twice, she evaporates them and turns them into dust. So a little interesting. Can't wait to find out a little more about that. Then we get back, and Jean-Luc is back at his place, and he's closing up. He's going to be doing some moving. So he's grabbing a lot of his mementos, and he has them sitting out on his desk. And then, of course, one of the ones that caught my attention right away was the flute or lute that he played. And that was really awesome because from the Inner Light, probably by a lot of people considered one of the best episodes. It was really wonderful. He is going through it. He's telling him, I'm going to give my painting of the D, his old Enterprise to, he's going to give that to Geordi, who's running a museum. And she's like, yeah, don't you dare. But she wants to. Anyway, Beverly had sent an encoded message, and he hears chirping, and he goes to unpack his Next Generation uniform when he winds up pulling out his communicator, and it's got an encoded message on it. and he has to kind of figure out, well, who would send it to this? Nobody knows about it. And then he kind of pieces a few things together and finds out it is from Beverly. She gives him coordinates and says, don't trust anybody in Starfleet, but she needs his help. So, of course, who would he turn to? Of course, William Riker. And he and Riker meet at 10 Forward in San Francisco, and they're having a conversation, and Picard doesn't want to get Riker involved. But, they start talking about the message, and it comes up about Rigel. Rigel winds up being, it's a debate if it's Rigel 6 or 7, which is a nod to the original episode of The Cage, where this takes place on Rigel 7, which everybody kind of remembers that. Riker's like, look, Deanna, and they're not going to miss me right now. We need to do this. And of course, they're going to go help their friend. They have a plan. They develop their plan. And of course, they are going to the space station. And we get the meeting of the Titan, which was Riker's old ship. Looks like it's gone through his new refit, kind of like the Enterprise went into the A. We are going to get it. I will say, however, that they did have a number of cool things at the bar. I should remember. They actually had Eagle Moss. So they actually had like a copy of the Enterprise D, and it is the Eagle Moss. You could see the stand and stuff on it. And they're like, oh, yeah, nobody gets these. The fat ones, that's what they called it. It was really, really absolutely hilarious, the fat ones. And nobody gets those. So it was cool to see they planned some product placement kind of in there. So, that was neat. But they get to the space station, and this is we did find out about Raffi a little bit. She's working for Starfleet Intelligence, and she's trying to figure out who the Red Lady is. That intelligence won't give her more information. She doesn't know who he's actually working for, but she thinks it's like a terrorist thing. So she's researching that. So Picard and Riker have hatched their scheme, and what they've decided to do is they're going to do inspection, an unexpected, unannounced inspection of the Titan. So there are so many member berries that kick in at this point, because it's very reminiscent of the motion picture when Scotty's got Kirk in their little shuttle. You can see the shuttle flying into the ship. And the two of them are in the cockpit. You've got the music playing, which is very reminiscent of it. It's actually just super fantastic. We wind up, the way that the space dock and everything is set up reminds me very much of, the Enterprise A from Star Trek, original Enterprise from Star Trek 2 and 3, when they wind up going into the space station. So, I mean, it's just cool. I think they're probably using the same model, assuming that they are using the models. And again, when they were doing the scene, the inspection, it was very much like when they were in the space dock, here. So we get to see the picture of them going forward. And then we get it revealed. There is the A. You can see it's the NCC 8012, and then you can see the A right there. So it is the new one, which is really cool. They call it the Neo Constitution class. The Constitution was what the original Starship Enterprise was before it got refitted into the Enterprise class, is really what it was considered. They come aboard, and there's the boatswain whistle, which was awesome. The boatswain whistle, it was very reminiscent of Star Trek 6. When they come on board, I wonder if it isn't even the same prop. So that was really awesome. We find out 7 of 9. Now she has to go by Anna Hansen. That's what the captain requires. She meets them on board and basically takes them on the quick tour. And they have to leave space dock because they're doing this training cruise. and this is part of their scheme so that they can change course once it gets out there. And Captain Picard, Admiral Picard, actually is like, you need to let them know. And she goes, no, Admiral. She goes, it doesn't work that way. It's all automated. I mean, she's basically letting him know, I know more about the ships than you do, and you're outdated. Very reminiscent of Decker and Kirk back from the motion picture when they went through it. That was awesome. She winds up taking it out of the space dock, so we get a really nice shot. It's actually the Titan's a beautiful looking ship. They did a great job with the special effects budget. And then, of course, we find out the helmsman is Geordi's daughter, of course, LaForge. There's a big joke in there where they find out her nickname was Crash because of a shuttle. She's a little embarrassed by it, but it had a lot of humor to it. And then they finally get to meet the captain. And I will say Todd Stashwick plays Captain Shaw. And you realize right away he's going to be their adversary in this part. He does not like Riker, nor does he like Picard. And of course, we always think that everybody likes them, but they did a lot of stuff throughout the seasons, and a lot of times against the rules. He is structure and rule bound. He despises everything that Riker and Picard do and lets them know it. He is not at all fond of them. He denies their requests. And they were like, you can't. He goes, look, you guys have no sway here. This is my ship. I'm not doing it. It was really cool. The tension is good. He's very believable as the captain. His disdain to the two really shows out very, very nicely. Matter of fact, he goes, I've got some comfortable quarters for the two of you, and he puts them in bunk beds. It is great. An admiral and a captain, the former captain, he's putting in bunk beds to share a room, just to show how little, which reminds me of Star Trek 6. Again, it's a callback when you got Kirk, and then you've got McCoy. That's in Rura Pente. Oh, my God. Just absolutely fantastic. Beverly Crusher, so they wind up going out. Anna, or should I say 7 of 9, disobeys orders by the captain sleeping, takes him to the edge. We find out that the Titan can do warp 9.99, and so it's probably about the fastest ship in the fleet. They wind up getting there. He steals the shuttle. The captain wakes up, and they're already gone. They wind up finding Beverly's ship. It's the SS Ilios, I think it was. And they wind up finding that in the nebula. They go in and find her because she was wounded at the beginning, and she's in a stasis chamber. Very reminiscent to some of the earlier episodes and stuff like that, where they've used the basically cryo chambers. They wind up, all of a sudden Picard gets jumped, and he's got a phaser to his neck. The phaser reminds me a lot of like the Star Trek 6 phasers, and they're trying to figure out who it is. And finally, William takes him down, and he goes, "Who are you? Why would you help Beverly?" "Well, that's my mom, and I'm Jack." We find out that Jack Crusher is around her. She had a son, and the son's not Wesley. So that'll be very interesting to find out. Is this completely different? Is there no Wesley? Is Jack the only son, or are they coexisting? So we get this nice heartfelt moment. They're like, how are we going to wind up saving her? And then all of a sudden the klaxons go off, and they're like, oh no, they found us. Who has found you? And then it ends on this shot, which is really kind of cool, because when the ship emerges, it winds up emerging from the cloud. It reminds me very much of the Narada from the movies. And, Eric Bana, he played Nero, and he had converted a Romulan ship. It has that feel to it as it came out of the cloud, and that's where this ended. So love what they have done with this. I'm just going to say I had super, super low expectations. All the positives, there were a lot of member berries. I touched on just some of them. I know I probably missed a lot because there's a lot of little pictures and screens that are popped up. They love to put little Easter eggs and stuff in there. Needless to say, this was well written. The characters are finally the characters that they should have been all along. I am telling you, this was so well written, directed. The cinematography was great. I actually can't believe it's the same series. It's like something completely new. And I'm glad Anna, her review kind of talked me into it because I wasn't going to watch it. I was done. Guys, I'm going to give my CGC rating of this. I am giving this one a 9.4. I loved it. I really did. This is the best Star Trek under Kurtzman that I've seen. Now, I'm also not going, woo, everybody hop on board the bandwagon. It's one episode. And that doesn't mean they can't totally ruin it. Like I said, I would not put it past them. But based on this one episode, I will watch episode 2 and let's see where this goes. No wokeness, great characters, great story, impactful. The member berries with the next generation and the things that you pick up. There was so much. It was fanfare, maybe over the top. But you know what? Kind of needed some of that because there has been no true Star Trek love for a while for any of the fans. And, I'm very happy to say this is a great, great show. But you guys may agree or disagree with me. I've already talked to several of you, and you're like, I don't care. I'm never hopping back on. And there are a lot of fans who they permanently lost. Kind of like when Enterprise, they went with the 4th season, which was the best season of Star Trek maybe ever, but they've already lost all their fans. So, it was over and done with. The nerds and I all enjoyed it. There really were no negatives. So it was a consensus of all of us that watched it saying maybe give it a shot. This one does not suck. So I hope that answers your question. Smash the like and subscribe, the like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notifications. I will do a review of episode 2 when this comes out. Andy and I typically do movie reviews and other show reviews. So, keep check for that. And then I also do the comic book reviews and whatnot. So anyway, subscribe to the channel. Don't get left behind. Appreciate your time. And we will talk to you all real soon. Live long and prosper.